Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Eugene Koh here. So today my topic is why are some homes more profitable than others? So I will need all your participation for a few questions at the very start. So you can raise your hand if you agree. Okay, and before I start, some disclaimer. So please do your own independent research before investing in any properties. Okay. Okay, so question 1. New condos appreciate more. Who agree? Agree can raise your hand. New condos appreciate more? Okay, quite a lot. Okay, but of course there are also some older resale condos that also appreciate more. Okay, so these are just some general characteristics. Okay, next question. Bigger size condo appreciate more. Okay. Or is it nearer to MRT developments appreciate more? Nearer to MRT? Okay. Or must it be within 1 km to good schools that appreciate more? Within 1 km to good schools? Any school supporter? Okay, there are some. Okay, and lastly, central region. Is it that we must invest in central region? Is it better? Or outside central region? Central region means CCR and RCR. Or is it OCR? Anyone? CCR, RCR? Thinks that CCR, RCR will appreciate more? Thank you. Okay, so in my opinion, okay, these are important factors, but there is no one factor that can accurately determine whether a property can appreciate more or appreciate less. So now I will share my opinion. My opinion is these are the 3 things that I look at when I invest in properties myself and also for my clients. So firstly, point 1 is entry price. So I always look at the entry price. In short, am I able to buy the property low? Secondly, is about exit demand. We always say, right, buy low, sell high. But when you want to sell high, you must look at your exit demand. Is your exit demand there? Are there a lot of people that want to buy your property? So this is point 2. And point 3 is, think about it, we want to buy low, we want to sell high. But in between your entry and exit, are there any upside potential that can allow your property to go above market returns? So these are the 3 things I evaluate instead when I choose any property. Okay, so Insight 1 today, entry price, and one of my most favorite type of investment when I look at entry price is investing in a brand new property at resale price. And why? Because it potentially offers lower risk and higher returns. With that, I go to another question. So now, would you invest in a brand new property? A brand new property is like a baby. Okay, a baby, still very young. Or is it a younger resale property? Or an older resale property? Every one of us have our preference. Is it a baby, a young adult, or an older adult? Okay, maybe location, maybe size, maybe price. Okay, but one most important factor that affects your decision is the entry price. The entry price of what price you're buying. So as a context, if now I ask this question, if now a brand new property is at almost the same price as a resale property given very similar other attributes, raise your hands if you will invest in brand new now. Okay, most of you have raised your hand. But on the other side of the coin, if now a resale property is at almost 50% discount as compared to a brand new property, raise your hand if you are invest in a resale property. Right, 50% discount. Okay, so that is the context we are looking at, is the entry price context. And now I will share why I made my own property investment decision. So I invested in Penrose in year 2020. 2020, sometime in September, Penrose by Hong Leong is launched. Sims Drive, walking distance to Aljunied MRT. And why I make this decision. So the first thing I look at is I want to compare with similar attributes resale developments in the area. And which one I compare with? Penrose, which is brand new, going to TOP in the next 1-2 months. Okay, Sims Urban Oasis is a resale property at the point of time. And when we look at the location map, the circle in red is Penrose, the circle in black is Sims Urban Oasis. They are located right beside each other along Sims Drive, 6 to 8 minutes walk to Aljunied MRT. If I can point here, Aljunied MRT, and within 1 kilometer to Geylang Methodist Primary School. Okay, and both developments are pretty large size, right, Daniel? Penrose? Yeah. Okay, so then now in year 2020, what we look at is the resale price of Sims Urban Oasis. So when we look at the resale price of Sims Urban Oasis in year 2020, what do we see? The 3-bedroom units, they are going at, over here you can see 2020 transactions of 3-bedroom, unit size 1033 square feet, if you can see. PSF is roughly 1,005 per square foot on average. And when we look at the 2-bedroom, the data is similar. In year 2020, unit size 600 over square feet. The PSF is 15XX per square foot. You don't see such prices now, but this is in year 2020, okay? Now it's maybe around 2,001 for non-expressway facing. Expressway facing is 1,009 plus, okay? Yeah, and 1-bedroom, 400 over square feet, the price is around 1,006 per square foot. So at a point of time, I'm thinking to myself, okay, the Penrose land in year 2019, developer Hong Leong was bought at 732 per square foot, a break-even price of 1,329. So since their break-even price is 1,329, will I be getting something similar to resale price in the largely the same location, similar attributes? So when I give it a 15% margin from the break-even price, I saw that the price might be 1,528 per square foot, which means I take the 1,329 times 1.15. Okay, so it's 1,528 per square foot. And even when I give it a 25% profit margin, the price comes out to be 1,661 per square foot. So in my mind, I'm thinking, hey, maybe we are looking at an opportunity here. Why? Because if I can get a good unit at 15XX per square foot, it means that I can get a brand new unit at resale price at almost similar attributes. So I will feel that my downside risk is lower, my upside potential will be higher. So with that, this is in my mind. I can get a brand new property at resale price, a ribbon on top of my car, right? Brand new at the same price. And this is in my mind, just to put some graphics. So in year 2020, I can choose to go for Sims Urban Oasis at 15XX per square foot, or I can choose to go for Penrose at 15XX per square foot. Right? And Sims Urban Oasis is a 3-year-old resale development at that point of time, and Penrose is -4. Why -4? Because it's going to TOP soon, in the next 1-2 months. Okay, so in year 2020, they are called -4. Okay, and fast forward 4 years later, what we see on the market now is that now Sims Urban Oasis is at 18XX per square foot, and Penrose non-expressway facing is going at 21XX per square foot. Okay, which is roughly 15 to 20% more. Why? Because there's a 7-year age gap between these two developments, even given the same location. So which is why investing in a brand new property at resale price offers lower risk and potentially higher returns. Clear? Okay. And so now is the time whereby you have to spot the brand new opportunities close to resale price within similar attributes. And they are around. So we can reach out to our ERA teammates to discuss this further. Okay, with that, but again, you might be thinking also, but if I invest in Sims Urban Oasis in year 2020, I can collect rental. Whereas if I invest in Penrose instead, I have no rental at all. Why? Because Penrose is uncompleted. But again, when you take a loan, your rental, you must pay your expenses. And largely, the biggest expense in any resale development, property investment that's completed, is interest expense and also maintenance fee and property tax. So how would the numbers work out? So just as an illustration, okay, recently Amber Park TOP, Amber Park is located at District 15. So as an illustration, 2-bedroom unit now is going around $2 million. If you have taken a 75% loan over 25 years loan tenure at 3% interest rate, how will your expenses be like? Monthly interest is roughly 3,750, not your monthly repayment. It's your monthly interest. You pay the repayment maybe probably around 6,000 or 7,000. I'm not sure. There is interest payment and there is principal repayment. The interest is 3,750. It's an expense. Maintenance fee $400. Property tax roughly $400. We are looking at total expense of 4,550. And current rental for Amber Park 2-bedroom is roughly 4,007. Expense 4,550. So your net rental income is only $150. So it's not really 4,007 but $150. And on top of that, you must make sure that it's 100% occupied for the next 4 years, and also other expenses, wear and tear of the unit, agent fee to source for a tenant, all these are the costs. But the interest expense for brand new property is very low because of progressive payment. Right, the last 40% is only dispersed after TOP. Okay. Okay, so this is just an illustration. So whatever property you are going at, when you want to compare resale or a new launch unit, you can actually compare in this way. Okay, so inside one, again, find a brand new property at resale price. So potentially lower risk, higher returns. There are other rule of thumb for entry price, but I think this is quite relevant in today's market. Okay, and now we talk about buying lower. Right, buying lower, and next we talk about exit demand. Why exit demand is important? Because you want to sell higher. You want to exit higher. When a lot of people want to buy your property, demand is higher, potential appreciation will also be higher. So point 2, exit demand. Invest in high demand properties, offer higher profitability. So can anyone tell me what type of properties is highest in demand? Highest in demand. Most people love to buy these properties. Okay, which is focused on this group. There are a lot of groups, but this group is generally quite big in numbers. HDB upgraders, like what Zach have shared earlier. So HDB upgraders, many of them are sitting on profit from their BTO flats, and usually they have aspiration to upgrade to a private property. So with that, we look at some data. Just now you have seen $1 million HDB transactions on the rise, as well as in the first 7 months of 2024, we are looking at $511 million flat, and maybe we might even hit 800, 900, or even 1,000 this year already. So this number is constantly on the rise. And what properties do HDB upgraders look for? Okay, just imagine they get married, they get a BTO flat, they MOP already. Chances are they might have some kids, 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know okay. But let's assume 1 or 2 at least. Okay. Location, heartland homestay demand, and generally they love properties who are nearer to MRT. Not for themselves sometimes, but for their kids. For their kids nearer to MRT, since their kids cannot drive, right? Nearer to MRT can give them independence. So this is just 3 of the items. There are other things like schools and other things, but we will leave it to another day. So 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, heartland homestay demand, walking distance to MRT. And the beautiful part, not beautiful part, okay, but it's the fact of life. The fact of life is HDB upgraders do not mind paying more for new resale properties to sidestep ABSD and rental costs. What do I mean by sidestep ABSD? If you own a flat today, you want to buy a brand new property, you need to pay the first 25%, given a 75% loan, if your flat is fully paid. On top of that, you must still pay another 20% additional buyer's stamp duty. So simple maths, $2 million purchase, 25%, you must fork out 500,000 without selling your flat. Another 20% ABSD, which is 400,000 without selling your flat, and also a normal stamp duty. So it adds up to be close to $1 million already without selling your flat. So it might be not so easy. Or if you choose to sell your flat and you wait 3 to 4 years for a brand new property, you will need to incur rental. So isn't paying more for a brand new resale the easier way out? Right? You have kids, schools, you must rent for 3 to 4 years. Who is willing to do that? Not many people, huh? Okay, yeah. Okay, so just some reasons why they did not buy during new launch. Maybe it can be they have not reached MOP yet. Maybe their money is all stuck in their flat and they have used bulk of their CPF on their HDB already. And there's very, very high outlay with ABSD if they do not want to rent. If not, like what I say, sell HDB and rent is the fifth option. So highly not many given ABSD rates now. 7% we see more, 12% we see slightly less, 17% slightly lesser, 20% even lesser, but still have. Okay, so assuming a $2.5 million purchase with a fully paid HDB flat, we are looking at least 1.2 million cash without selling the flat. So most people in their 20s, after fully paying their flat, do not have another 1.2 million, unless they are very nice parents, right? 1.2 million first, right? So if you don't have, then chances are, or you do not want to get this $1.2 million support, then it's easier to buy a brand new resale. So you can buy Penrose now, for example, okay? And the HDB upgrader data this year, 2025 and 2026, we have 24,000 more flats reaching MOP. And the estates strongly quite high in Punggol, Queenstown area. And we look at Tampines and Toa Payoh. So these are the areas. These are the areas that we see very strong HDB MOP in the next 2 years. And also, if we include the flats that have MOP, that means 5-year to 15-year-old, is already 110,000. And coupled with the 24,000, we have 135,000 potentially sitting at the BTO profits, and they might want to invest. If only 30 to 40% of them want to upgrade, you can see that we are even looking at 40 to 50,000 more buyers for the private resale market. Okay, so exit 2. If you want to go for something safer, focus on HDB upgraders. What type of properties do they want to buy? Okay, so because this is the highest demand pool, HDB upgrader is still the highest demand pool. Okay, so now we talk about buying low, and then we sell high, and then upside potential, means in between your entry and exit. Is there any factors for your property to get above market returns? So upside potential. Okay, upside potential, there are many points which the earlier speakers, including Zach, have already mentioned. So I'll just screen through them. Okay, so firstly, Zach talked a lot about population growth, higher demand, higher income, intergeneration wealth transfer, inflation, and the fifth factor. So we'll talk about the fifth factor later. So on population growth, Zach have mentioned a lot already. So in general, it's just higher population, higher demand for homes. As population increase over the last 5 years, real estate price continue to increase also. And more increase on the way. Income growth, the top 30 percentile Singaporean income have also increased. Top 10 percentile, 28,000, 20,000, followed by 16,000. Okay, next is, on the ground, what we are seeing is, to share an article last year by Business Times in June 2023, after reserve residences launch. On that day, Far East sold 520 units on that day. But what is more interesting is that 21% of the units are bought by buyers in their 20s, 109 units. 41% is bought by buyers in their 30s, 213 units. In total, 322 units. And we are even seeing young buyers in their 20s with very low income, even getting the 3 to 4 bedroom with little to no loan. And why is that possible? Because of they have nice parents, right? Somehow they have nice parents, so they can get 4 million unit with little to no loan, earn 3,000 and below, So sometimes it defies the odds of income also, right? How many of you are willing to buy properties for your children? Okay, only one. Okay, you're willing also. Very good. Okay, so intergeneration wealth transfer is what we see. We see that in Singapore, there are indeed parents who are willing to support their children for their first property purchase. Indeed, there's this group around. Okay, and of course, sometimes inflation is ongoing, basically money becoming smaller. And it's not only because real estate is a good asset class, but inflation also drives appreciation. And as inflation goes up over the last, I don't know how many years, real estate price also follow the same trend. And what we see is that real estate price even outperform inflation by almost 3 times. 116% against 46%. And which is why we say that real estate is a good hedge against inflation. Okay, with that 4 points, we go to the 5th point. So the 5th point for upside potential is basically urban transformation. Okay, so urban, what is it? Okay, so as an illustration of urban transformation, we use Jurong. Jurong, 30, 40 years ago, used to be an area whereby the location is not like, second CBD, but now it's like the second CBD already. Okay, so we look at the master plan from year 2003 to 2019. So you spot the difference. Okay, there are 2 main differences. You look at the color. Okay, the first color is over here on top. In 2003 master plan, you can see that this yellow color means it's reserved land. Okay, in 2019, it becomes a bit of residential land. The second big change is that you look at in year 2003, you look at this area, it looks more white. Okay, so these are the 2 main changes. Firstly, the changes in 2019 is that some of the land in the 2019 master plan is zoned as white site. White site means you can build almost anything. You can build hotels, you can build anything, even residential. Okay, the second one is residential. So there's a lot of master plan changes in Jurong because it's zoned as a transformation zone over the last 20, 30 years. And what we also see is that transformation have an effect on prices. It's like when you buy a property, on your left have an MRT station, on your right have another CBD, in front of you have another shopping mall. All these will help to drive out the price because there are higher demand for such properties. And if we can see the effect on transformation on price is that Ivory Heights in 2003 is at 255 per square foot. Now is 1061 per square foot, almost 4-fold increase. So it's above market returns when you have transformation ongoing. Okay, and there's a lot of transformation ongoing in Singapore. Okay, not only in this list. In this list we have Changi region, Greater Southern Waterfront, which is a big one, Galang River. We have Bayshore coming up. We have a lot of Punggol Digital District, Paya Lebar Air Base. So these are potential areas that you can look at if you want more upside potential. Of course, entry price is important. Okay, and also now ongoing, we have Bukit Timah, Turf City, Rail Corridor. Okay, but today we are just focused on one. And we focus on the biggest one, which is the Greater Southern Waterfront as an illustration. So 6 times the size of Marina Bay, 2 times the size of Punggol, over 30 km of coastal stretch. This is one of the rare transformation in central part of Singapore, southern central part of Singapore. And what we look at is one of the most important future plans for Singapore's growth. And some of the items, the plan is not exactly concrete and more to be announced in the coming years, but we see that redevelopment of Keppel Club. Keppel Club, we know that 9,000 residential units will be up there, 6,000 HDB, 3,000 private, and then freeing up prime land in the area, and also repurposing the 2 power stations in Pasir Panjang. And on top of that, Pulau Brani, together with Sentosa, we have linking up of greenery from West Coast to East Coast, and long-term plans for Singapore's future hub for work, live, and play. And why is that transformation will drive real estate price? Firstly, a lot of capital inflow in the area, migration of population, seafront capital homes, and a lot of property attention. Property attention meaning you buy a property every 1 or 2 years, there's new news that something is happening in your area. In fact, the government will be investing billions of dollars in the Greater Southern Waterfront. So a lot of money flowing in, and migration of population. So I even have some friends telling me they are interested in the seafront homes in Keppel because they felt that is a very good location. So so more people will be staying in that area, like increase in population. And of course, property attention. Every 1 or 2 years, you have some news. Some news of, is it, HDB flats. In fact, next year, we might see the first launch of the BTO flats in Keppel already. Okay, or is it this Sentosa Malayan or plans for the power district? Okay, key milestone. So, like from here now, we have the Sentosa Linkway, 2025 completion of the Circle Line, 2026 the first residential sites launching there, 2027 PSA move out, and in between 2024 to 2040, we have more office space in the Greater Southern Waterfront area, and redevelopment of the Pasir Panjang Power District, and more coming in the Sentosa and Pulau Brani area. Okay, so spot the opportunities. There are a few. Spot the opportunities near the Greater Southern Waterfront. So just to mention one of the few. Okay, Terra Hill. Terra Hill is a development that is very near to Pasir Panjang MRT. In fact, a pretty beautiful development. I didn't put this in, but I think what I personally see is that beautiful development tend to do better. Good finishes development. And this is Terra Hill. And the location is basically, is freehold and within walking distance to Pasir Panjang MRT, which a lot of things are happening over the next 10 to 15 years. And also 270 units. So it's very rare to have a freehold development near to MRT and at least 200 units. Okay, so spot the other opportunities at urban transformation nodes. So what I went through today is basically buy low, and my point is I will always find a brand new property at close to resale price with similar attributes. Exit demand, buy a property which I think when I exit, there's a lot of people that want to buy my property so that I can sell higher. And thirdly, is there any upside potential from the time I enter and when I exit? Okay, and thank you.